Energy is all around us.
Water, wind, and sun are all great renewable sources of energy. And today we're going to focus on that big, bright power source in the sky.
Today on PowerHouse, we'll explain how solar energy works and look at the options to make solar work for you.
We'll talk about a new way to benefit from solar energy, community solar.
And we'll learn about battery storage options for solar-generated energy and how it can help keep the lights on, rain or shine.
That's next on this sunny edition of PowerHouse. Welcome to this sun-powered edition of PowerHouse. Today we're going to be talking about ways to implement solar technology in your home.
First, we want to talk about some basics. We all know the sun provides light and heat for our planet, but we want to know much more about how do we harness those rays and use them to power everything for our homes.
And Steve Gradanis from Alliant Energy is here with us today. And Steve, people have been using the sun for light and heat since we've been on the planet, right? But when did modern solar technology come into play?
There's a few different types of solar technology for making electricity. The one we see most commonly here in the Midwest is the photovoltaic solar module, which has been around since roughly the 1950s. Since that time, the wattages have continued to increase, the efficiency has improved, the cost has come down to now where we've reached a point here that the technology has evolved and the price has come down, that it's very economical to utilize this technology even here in the Midwest.
Steve, what are the main system components that are used to harness the sun into electricity?
The most visual components of a system are the solar modules themselves, which are the rectangles you may see out in fields or on rooftops. And you'll also see the racking system or the attachments that those modules are either affixed to the roof or standing in the field. What you may not see behind the scenes is some of the more electrical components, some of the wiring, the inverters, the main panel boards, and the meters that are attached to those systems.
Can you walk us through the process of how all of those components work together and really focus on those photovoltaic modules that we see?
Absolutely. Starting at the photovoltaic modules, inside each one, as the solar radiation hits that module, it's creating a DC current flow, creating electrons to move, similar to a battery where you'll have that DC, a plus and a minus on each module. What we do is we take those modules, connect them together, plus and minus, to create strings of modules, strings of DC, and we'll connect those together to aggregate that power, and then we convert it to AC electricity through the inverters, and we bring that out to the grid. The analogy I like to utilize is it's a lot like the leaves and branches of a tree. Each solar module out there in the field is like the leaf of a tree. It's collecting the sun's energy, and any one module is only a small component of the total system. But then behind the scenes, you have all those branches that are just aggregating that electricity together and putting it out onto the overhead distribution lines that you'll see throughout our communities.
So, I love that analogy of the tree, and we see all the modules. Steve, help us then again, how does that get from those modules then into that usable electricity? Is there what's the next step in there?
So behind the modules, it's a lot of DC wiring. So that's bringing the power together, DC, similar to batteries. And what we do is we bring that up to our desired system voltage. On our larger systems, that's 1,000 volts DC. And then we start connecting those strings in parallel over and over and over again, as many times as it takes to determine the size of the facility we want to build. Then we take that DC energy and we need to convert it to AC because that's what we plug into in our houses. And so that's the inverters, and there may be our small string inverters or large central inverters at our utility scale facilities.
Now, there are so many components to this. This goes much deeper than just driving by something that's sitting on the countryside. What is the general cost? Is it more as compared to creating traditional energy?
The cost continues to fall for photovoltaic electricity. I like to equate it to a cell phone or a computer. The technology is evolving so rapidly. If we look at some of Alliant Energy's facilities from just a couple of years ago that are 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 megawatts compared to the 50 megawatts and larger utility scale sites that we're working on today, the cost continues to fall both from the technology as well as the economies of scale of those sites. Again, to where it makes it very economical here, even in the Midwest, to build these facilities.
Steve, as we sit here late in 2022, what percentage of Alliant Energy's energy is through solar technology, and why is this so important?
As we're sitting here today, we are actually in final commissioning of about 250 megawatts of solar. And by the end of 2023, we're hoping to have more than a gigawatt or 1,000 megawatts of solar online, which is 50 times as much solar as we have in operation just today.
Now, why is it so important for Alliant Energy?
Really, it ties into our overall generation mix that we have. We are trying to provide the lowest cost, most reliable power to our customers that we can.
You know, Pete, thinking back to the beginning of PowerHouse, when we first started talking about solar energy and it was so futuristic, it really is exciting technology and it's fun to watch it grow so rapidly.
really is.
And we thank you so much for sharing all this information with us. You know, I can see why solar is so important to Alliant's overall energy generation.
Absolutely.
And the next time you drive by a solar array, you can say, I know how that works.
As of June 2021, the largest solar farm in the world was the Bladya Solar Park in India. It's spread across 14,000 acres and has a total capacity of 2.25 gigawatts. As solar becomes more affordable and more adaptable, homeowner interest in having a dedicated system for their home has grown. Here to talk about a single-family home solar system installation is Jake Robbie from Robbie Hardware. Jake, thanks for joining us today.
You bet, Pete.
Let's first talk about considerations for a solar plan for a homeowner. Take us through that.
The first thing we got to do is look at how many kilowatt hours the home needs, and then design a system, see if they have enough roof space or ground space to install what most people want is to eliminate the need to buy kilowatt hours.
Now, is every property suitable for solar?
Most are, unless we have heavy shading. Solar does not like shade.
Okay, Jake, so take us through the installation process. What's that like? How long does that take?
Basically, it just comes down to getting the proper permits in place, doing the drawings, getting approval from the utility company, and then scheduling the installation. My trained professionals come then and install the system generally just in a day or two, and we're making power.
Okay. Jake, talk to us a little bit about energy that's created with a solar installation like this.
Well, this particular array is going to produce about 22,000 kilowatt hours a year. There's a total of 44 modules here, but each panel is going to produce approximately 600 kilowatt hours a year.
Can that create to actual dollars then?
Absolutely. I mean, the utility company is going to buy any excess. You're always going to self-consume at time of production anything the home needs, but any of your excess then goes to the utility company and is credited against anything you need in the future.
Jake, as we look up in here in this house, help us understand a solar module. What are we talking about?
Well, one module is approximately 7 foot by about 40 inches. So what you're looking at here is actual solar array. It's a group of modules put together that are passing electricity to the home.
I know there's a lot of information you're sharing with homeowners. Is there a question that they're confused about that you hear most often in terms of a solar system?
I think probably the biggest thing is everybody thinks if the power's off, they're up and running. Without batteries, that's not the case. If we incorporate a battery into the system, then the system can be utilized when the power is off.
Yeah, I'm sure every home is a different situation, but our PowerHouse viewers are always interested in what's the cost going to be.
Generally, you're going to be around $1,000 per module, which includes everything. On the smaller systems, the 10, 12, 16 is going to be a little more than $1,000 per module average. On the larger ones, it's going to be less.
Jake, talk to us a little bit about, I know there's some tax credits if I'm installing solar.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the federal credit today runs for the next 10 years and is a full 30% of the total project cost.
So that brings the question in terms of my return and payback, how many years?
Well, generally we see paybacks in approximately 7 years, plus or minus a year. Return on investments are normally calculated somewhere between about 9 to 13% ROI.
Well, Jake, thanks for sharing a lot of great information about solars. Thank you. Renewable energy is an essential part of energy. And if you'd like more perspective on whether solar is a bright idea for your powerhouse, visit PowerHouseTV.com.
California is the undisputed leader when it comes to solar power in the U.S., with almost 23 gigawatts of installed solar. Nearly 17% of California's electricity comes from solar. Solar is a great option if you live in a single-family detached home. But what if you live in an apartment, or you live in a condo, or perhaps your property just isn't set up right for solar installation? Alliant Energy is solving that problem with community solar. And here to tell us more is Heidi Parker from Alliant. Tell us what the Alliant Energy Community Solar Initiative is and why you started it.
So the Alliant Energy Community Solar Program was established to make solar easy and accessible to all of our customers. Not every location is ideal for solar. Rooftops might not be facing the right direction. It might be shaded. You may not have land. In fact, a lot of our customers rent or don't own their own property. So we made this available so all customers can get the benefits of solar.
How does the program itself work when someone enrolls in it?
Once we've identified a solar garden, we divide the garden into 250-watt portions that we call solar blocks. Now, we then sell those blocks to our customers, so our customers can offset their energy use with solar up to 100%. But when the solar garden is operational, that energy goes back onto the grid, in which we then use to power communities and businesses. However, it's those customers who have purchased blocks receive a monthly bill credit for the next 20 years.
So how do you determine which community to use and where to place these solar gardens?
So these solar gardens, or the solar blocks, are available to all of our electric customers. So when we look for a good location, we're looking for communities that have strong support from our residents and from our businesses, but we also take a look at it from a construction standpoint. So we look for land that is buildable and for where substations are close, where we can get that energy straight back onto our grid quickly.
So that makes sense. But to be clear, it doesn't have to be in my geographic community, right? It can be within my state. As long as I'm an Alliant Electric customer,
Yes.
I can still buy into the program.
Absolutely.
So aside from saving money, what are the other advantages and benefits that this program brings to a community?
So not only is it the bill credit, but it's also the customers don't have to do the installation themselves or the maintenance. That is something that we take care of with each of our projects. And it's local. You'll be able to drive by a solar garden and say, yep, that's where I'm getting my solar energy.
So Heidi, are there any fees associated with this program? Or let's say that someone needs to pull out of the program once they've invested. Is there a fee for that?
There is, and all our fees are all up front. So once you have paid for those fees for those solar blocks, that's it. You don't have to pay anything else after that.
So it's not like an app where I have to pay a monthly subscription then?
No, absolutely not. So you're able to receive the solar production benefits, those bill credits from those solar blocks, on a monthly basis without any additional fees after we're operational.
So what happens if I move and I can't fulfill that 20-year obligation?
Well, if you stay an Alliant Energy customer, you get to take those bill credits with you. If by chance you're no longer an Alliant Energy customer, you'll receive a prorated refund of those fees.
Well, this is a really exciting program, and I'm sure that a lot of our viewers are intrigued. So where should they go for more information?
You can find out so much more information about the program itself at AlliantEnergy.com. You can find out more about individual projects or be added to the wait list.
You know, this is a great solution so that everyone can enjoy solar power and renewable energy in general. Thanks, Heidi. If you'd like more information on community solar, like she said, go to AlliantEnergy.com/community solar.
Solar energy is a great way to harness the power of the sun, but doesn't the sun have to shine to make it work? The good news is it doesn't. That's the benefit of energy storage, like batteries. Joining us is Garrett Joseph from Hawkeye Electric to tell us more. And Garrett, these aren't batteries that you just find in your junk drawer. They're much larger. Tell us how these batteries work with a solar power system.
Right, so this is a 3 kilowatt hour battery. This is the battery itself. It's gonna go into a cabinet that you would place somewhere in your house where it can stay above freezing temperatures. So that would be a setting like this in a garage, an unfinished part of the house, or in a utility room. But after that, it's pretty straightforward. Once you've got solar on your roof or on the ground, it allows you to take some of that power that's being produced by the solar array and store it in these batteries.
And that's what we're talking about. This is the typical battery for a residential solar system?
Right, and the install that we have going on today, we've got 3 of these going into a cabinet. That gives this homeowner 9 kilowatt hours of usable power. That's designed just to back up the 110, 120 volt circuits here at the house. So the furnace to keep the house from freezing in the winter, the sub pumps, the refrigerators, the freezers, all of those things that you think about first when the power goes out.
Now, this homeowner can add to that, right?
Yeah, so what's really nice about the system that we use is that it's easily expandable in the future. You can just take 3 more of these and plug them right into the battery cabinet. Some battery solutions out there, you've got to get a whole nother cabinet to put on your wall, and it can take up a lot of space and add a lot of cost to the install.
Garrett, this is added on, right? So what's the additional investment to have battery storage?
Right, so the additional investment to get a battery backup system installed on your existing array or a new array, you're going to be looking between $15,000 for a 9 kilowatt hour, what we have going in at this house. If you're looking more for a whole house backup situation where you can run your air conditioner, well pumps, stoves, dryers, those large appliances, you're going to be looking closer to that $20,000. One nice thing about the battery setups is they do qualify for the federal solar tax credit of 30%. So you get a big chunk back to use as a credit for your taxes at the end of the year.
So you mentioned a number of benefits. Talk to us about the benefits of having the battery storage.
On a traditional solar setup, most solar customers right now, they've only got the array. When the power goes out, their array shuts down and it's not doing anything for them. Once you add a battery system to your array, that solar on your roof can stay active and feeds the house or powers the house in conjunction with the battery backup system.
And again, that's a safety aspect. So if you didn't have this battery storage, the solar would shut down.
Right, the solar would shut down. When you have a battery set up, your house can island itself from the grid or basically take you off of your power company, and you're using your own green power at that point.
Well, Garrett, a lot of great information to having battery storage for solar. Battery storage can help make your home more energy independent. And as Megan's going to show us, homeowners aren't the only ones storing energy for later.
That's right, Pete. And here to talk to us more about battery storage is Bob Tandy from Alliant Energy. And before we get into these batteries behind us, let's talk about solar energy a little bit. How important is solar in the energy that you generate, and has that changed in the last couple of years?
So solar generation, along with wind, are really central in our sustainability journey from fossil fuels to renewables. And solar in particular is exciting because of its scalability and accessibility. It's available at large scale, utility scale, where we could have acres of solar panel generating at utility level voltages, all the way to residential and home systems that help to offset your power bill.
So we're standing here in front of a collective of 6 enormous batteries here. How do they play a role as far as the large scale storage for Alliant?
When the sun is shining, solar works very well. When wind is blowing, the turbines turn. When the wind's not blowing and the sun's not shining, we have a gap that we need to bridge. Storage allows us to bridge that gap. We can take excess capacity from those sunny days and from those windy days, put it in battery storage or other types of storage, and then use it when we need, like during the night when we want to turn the lights on.
So how are you and Alliant Energy using these batteries on a large scale?
Well, one of the super exciting things about battery storage specifically is how many use cases we actually have for them. We've talked about storage, right? Capturing that energy, keeping local energy local to help reduce transmission costs. Additionally, batteries can act something like a shock absorber on the system, which allows us to have more solar, more wind, and they help keep our power quality where it needs to be. On top of that, we can use it for backup. In the event of a storm or in the event of some disruption, batteries are capable of providing stored energy out onto the system until we can get our other generations back up and running.
So Bob, how much power is being stored here at any given time?
This site is 5 megawatts. And to put that in perspective, that's enough stored energy to power several hundred residential homes over the course of a day.
Wow, that's virtually a small community.
Absolutely.
Well, I know that technology is always changing, but tell us what's new as far as battery storage and renewables in general.
Yeah, much like computers, the technology is exponentially improving. With batteries in particular, or storage in particular, re-looking at old technologies like using kinetic energy and gravity, using water, the new technologies like hydrogen fuel cells and other chemical reactions that create and store power. And in the case of batteries, just new chemistries on how we're going to use them. It's changing so quickly and so revolutionary, and it's amazing. There are people who are thinking about things that we haven't even thought of, and they're building them, which is why it's so exciting.
Oh my gosh, your enthusiasm is really contagious. Thanks for talking with us today. If you'd like to learn more about the exciting things going on in regard to renewables and battery storage at Alliant Energy, go to alliantenergy.com.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of PowerHouse.
We learned a lot about the power of the sun.
We looked at installing residential solar modules.
We explored a new type of solar, community solar, and learned about its benefits.
And we stored up some knowledge on large-scale batteries.
Visit PowerHouseTV.com for additional information on solar options. And don't let the sun set on this opportunity for your powerhouse.